Welcome to Criminal Conversations, where your hosts will take you through some of the most fascinating crime stories in under 20 minutes. If you're looking for a quick and engaging deep dive into the world of true crime, you've come to the right place.
Welcome back to Criminal Conversations. We're diving into some seriously messed up true crime stories, and today we're heading to Skidmore, Missouri.
It seems like a quiet town, but it became the scene of a truly shocking and unsolved murder.
The victim, Ken Rex McElroy, was considered by many to be the town bully.
Yeah, this case is really fascinating because McElroy was killed in broad daylight, like right in front of a whole bunch of people. But get this, no one was ever charged.
It's crazy, right? A whole town shrouded in silence. So, what really happened? Was it an act of vigilante justice or something even more sinister? We're going to try to figure that out today.
For sure, we've got a ton of research to go through.
We're going to look at McElroy's reign of terror over Skidmore, the events that led to his death, and the eerie silence that followed.
We'll try to piece together the puzzle and see if we can make sense of it all.
Okay, so first, let's set the scene. It's the 1970s and 80s in Skidmore, Missouri. Picture a small, tight-knit community where, as they say, nothing ever happens.
Right, but beneath that surface, a storm was brewing.
And at the center of that storm was Ken Rex McElroy. He was this big, imposing guy, and according to reports, illiterate.
He basically ruled Skidmore through fear and intimidation.
This wasn't just like petty stuff either. McElroy had a long rap sheet. We're talking livestock rustling, arson, assault, even child molestation.
He was indicted 21 times. Can you believe that? 21 times.
It's mind-blowing. And he always managed to escape conviction. Some people believe his lawyer had connections to organized crime.
That would explain a lot, wouldn't it? I mean, how else can he get away with all that?
Exactly. And his relationships with young women were particularly disturbing. He married his wife, Trina McLeod, when she was only 14 years old.
After he allegedly got her pregnant, no less.
It's really sickening. And some sources suggest he was involved with other young girls, too.
A real predator.
It seemed like the legal system had completely failed the people of Skidmore. But in 1980, something happened that changed everything. McElroy shot a 70-year-old grocer named Bo Bowenkamp in the neck.
Wow.
Apparently, there was some kind of dispute involving McElroy's daughter and a piece of candy.
Seriously, a piece of candy? That escalated quickly.
It was a turning point for the town. They'd been putting up with McElroy's crap for years, but this was the final straw.
Understandably so. I mean, the guy was a menace.
So, on July 10th, 1981, a town meeting was held to discuss what to do about McElroy. Even the sheriff was there.
What did they decide to do?
Not much, unfortunately. The sheriff suggested things like forming a neighborhood watch. Imagine the frustration in that room. These people were desperate.
I bet. They must have felt completely helpless.
After the meeting, word got out that McElroy was at the D&G Tavern.
Oh no, this can't be good.
A crowd gathered around his truck. He was sitting there with his wife, Trina, and then shots rang out.
So, was it someone from the town?
Oh, that's the mystery. Trina claimed she saw the shooter, but others who were nearby said they didn't see anything.
Wait, what? How is that even possible?
And here's the really strange part. No one called an ambulance. It was like this collective silence fell over the whole town.
It's almost like they were all in on it or something.
Local authorities and the FBI investigated, but no one was ever indicted for McElroy's murder. Trina even filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the town, the county, the sheriff, the mayor, and a man she accused of being the shooter. But it was settled out of court with no admission of guilt.
So no one was ever held accountable.
Nope.
Unbelievable. A whole town keeping a deadly secret?
We'll talk more about that and what some experts think happened next time. It's wild, right? The whole town just clammed up. No one talked.
It's kind of creepy, actually. Like this unspoken pact to protect whoever shot McElroy.
And get this. After McElroy was gone, crime in Skidmore, especially livestock theft, went way down.
So, did they just trade one kind of bad for another?
It's a tough question. They were free from McElroy, but at what cost? The silence is deafening.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what they were all so afraid of.
This whole thing became a huge media sensation. Skidmore became the poster child for vigilante justice. Some people argue that the townspeople were forced to take the law into their own hands because the system failed them.
But isn't that a slippery slope? Where do you draw the line?
Exactly. It brings up all these complicated questions about justice, the law, and what happens when a community feels like it has no other choice.
When does it become okay to just, take matters into your own hands?
To really understand this whole thing, I think we need to go back and look at some of the specific incidents that led up to this.
Yeah.
Like McElroy's marriage to Trina McLeod. She was only 12 when they started their relationship, and her parents were obviously against it.
What happened then?
Well, their house burned down, and their dog was shot.
Are you serious?
Yep.
McElroy.
It's hard to believe it was a coincidence, right?
Yeah, no way.
Then there's the case of Romaine Henry, a farmer who McElroy shot twice just for asking him to stop shooting guns on his property.
What a hothead.
He was charged with assault with intent to kill, but as usual, the charges didn't stick.
Of course not.
And we can't forget Bo Bowenkamp, the grocer who got shot in the neck, all because McElroy's daughter was accused of stealing candy.
It's insane.
I know, right? This guy was a walking time bomb. Every interaction with him probably felt like walking on eggshells. It wasn't just bullying, it was pure terror.
So what do you think? Why do we still find this story so fascinating, even after all these years?
Maybe because it shows us the dark side of human nature, the potential for evil, even in a place that seems so peaceful.
And the power of fear, right?
Definitely. And it reminds us that some mysteries might never be solved. Like, we're left with all these unanswered questions and the chilling silence of a community forever haunted by what happened. It really makes you think, What if someone had actually spoken up? Would Skidmore still be known as the town that silenced its bully?
It's a fascinating question. Would it have changed anything? Maybe they could have brought McElroy to justice through the courts. But then again, maybe it would have just torn the whole town apart. I mean, the fear was so deep.
Right, like imagine the pressure those people were under, the fear of revenge. What if McElroy came after them? Or what if their own neighbors turned against them?
And you got to remember, things did get better in Skidmore after McElroy was gone. Like, crime went down, less livestock theft. It's messed up, but things calmed down.
Yeah, it's a twisted kind of piece. It makes you wonder what justice really means in this whole situation. Was it served? Or did the town lose its way by choosing silence over, doing the right thing?
That's a tough one. I don't think there are any easy answers.
No, there really aren't.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, the murder of Ken Rex McElroy still has people talking. Even after all these years, it's a story that just grabs you.
It really shows you how dark things can get, even in a small town.
Totally. It's like a reminder that evil can lurk anywhere. And sometimes the scariest truths are the ones that stay hidden.
So, where does the case stand now?
It's still unsolved. No one was ever charged. Skidmore's still living with that secret. A town forever marked by this tragedy that no one dared to talk about.
McElroy might be gone, but the questions and the fears still linger.
That's a great way to put it. Well, there you have it. The chilling story of Ken Rex McElroy, the town bully of Skidmore. We hope you found this deep dive as thought-provoking as we did.
Definitely. It's one of those cases that stays with you.
What do you think? Was justice served? Was the town's silence justified? We want to hear your thoughts. Share your theories and questions on social media using #CriminalConversations.
And remember, sometimes the most fascinating true crime stories are the ones that leave us with more questions than answers.
Absolutely. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep those conversations going.
Thanks for listening to Criminal Conversations. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to rate and review. It makes a huge difference and really helps us out. All of the sources used for today's episode can be found in the show notes. Join us every Monday and Thursday for a new story and another criminal conversation.